Hey, hope everyone's having a great October. Just wanted to remind you that all of our non-kill count content is over on Dead Meat Presents. That means the Dead Meat podcast, which comes out every other Wednesday, the weekly horror news and channel updates live stream I do every Monday morning, various interviews like the ones I just did for Terrifier 3, all the ranking videos, all the cut comparisons, the Horror Royal Rumble every January, and the Dead Meat Horror Awards every spring. There's also They Talk, future production tales from hell, gaming live streams, just all sorts of shit over there. We're gonna be focusing more on Dead Meat Presents in 2025. We got a whole lot of ideas for new series that we want to try and that we think you'll love. Subscribe over there so you don't miss any of it. All right, now enjoy this kill count that I know you've all been waiting for. Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies and show you how they were made. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Halloween Ends, released in 2022. Halloween Ends is the 13th film in the series and the third and final installment in Blumhouse's trilogy. Set 4 years after the last movie, it follows a Haddonfield outcast who inherits the evil of Michael Myers. Director David Gordon Green and co-writer Danny McBride brought Halloween back in 2018. They initially envisioned a 2-movie story before realizing they had enough material for a trilogy. Or so they say. Kills and Ends were written simultaneously with different writing teams. Ends was co-written by Paul Brad Logan and Chris Bernier, the first feature credit for both of them. Halloween Ends is a contentious film, to say the least. Halfway through the premiere, I leaned over to Chelsea and said that people were gonna hate it. I was mostly right. Reaction was so negative from some fans, they started praising Halloween Kills in retrospect. It made less at the box office than both its predecessors and left fans and critics disappointed. Common complaints were the sudden inclusion of Corey Cunningham as a focal character, and the lack of cohesion with the previous 2 films, which took place over the same night and were more traditional. 2 years after its release, my own opinion is still split right down the middle. I honestly can't tell you if I dislike it more than I like it, or vice versa. Like many others, I too wanted a satisfying conclusion to the trilogy, and in that regard, this movie is a total miss. But at the same time, Green gets great performances like always, from the main cast and all the little side characters who shade in Haddonfield. And it's trying something new and ambitious, which I've gotta respect.
David likes to refer to it, he's making an indie love story in the middle of a horror movie.
Was this the right time or place to do such a thing? Maybe not, but people said that about Season of the Witch too, and that movie absolutely fucking rules. So yeah, this might not be a good movie to cap off a trilogy, but at the very least, it's an interesting addition to the franchise. Maybe I do kinda sorta like it? Probably helps that I'm not precious about the Halloween series. I find most of them dull and repetitive. So I can appreciate the swing this movie took. It is, if nothing else, as John Carpenter described it, a departure. How many people will meet their... Oh, trick-or-treaters!
Trick or treat!
Soren, we can't do this every year, man.
Who's Zoran?
Listen, man, I don't have time for this, okay? What can I give you to... Here. How about the Chairman Pro package from today's sponsor, Manscaped? Its star is the Chairman Pro Foil Shaver, with a contouring head to adjust to your face and interchangeable skin-safe blades. The 4-blade foil for a close shave, and the stubble trimmer for when you want to keep things a bit more rugged.
I'm 8.
Plus, it's got 75 minutes of runtime on a single charge, a travel lock, and it's waterproof.
Bro, you should have like candy or something.
And when you're done trimming, the package includes the Face Shave Soother. Yeah, to hydrate your skin, defend against any ingrown hairs, and soothe any post-shave irritation.
I guess I'll hold on to this for like a decade.
Well, believe me, you'll thank me then. How does Zoran look so short?
Mom, can we not do this house next year?
Treat yourself to an upgraded grooming routine with the Chairman Pro package and use promo code KILLCOUNT20 for 20% off your order, plus free international shipping at manscaped.com. How many people will meet their Halloween end in Haddonfield? Let's find out and get to the kills. The movie begins on Halloween night in 2019, exactly 1 year after the events of the first 2 movies. When last the town of Haddonfield saw Michael Myers, he was overcoming a mob of people like Big Show in a Royal Rumble spot. Oh yeah, and then he killed Judy Greer, that bastard. Wholesome Hardy Boy Corey Cunningham has agreed to babysit for the swanky Allen family. I love their costumes, a flapper and toy train engineer. The parents warn Corey that little Jeremy's been wet in the bed lately. She blames the past year's events.
You know, the headlines of Michael Myers.
I love the idea of Michael looming over Haddonfield like a ghost, a specter, a shape. Michael ain't Corey's biggest problem though. Unlike the lovable Julian in Halloween 2018, Jeremy's a little asshole.
I don't probably feel like pretending to be best friends with an ugly ass boy babysitter.
When both the kid and the kitchen knife go missing, Corey starts to think the boogeyman's back in town. This house is such a good setting. It's got a great design and layout that lets the camera play around in the space. Say what you will about the rest of the movie, this opener is an excellent horror short. But Corey's not really in danger. This is just a prank from Jeremy, who locks him in the attic upstairs. The big bad babysitter huffs and puffs and tries to kick the door down right as the kid's parents get back home. Well, that's not good timing.
What was that?
Holy shit, neither was that! Wow, what an opening kill! One of the most shocking moments I've had in recent years at the theater. To achieve this prime rib nominated kill, production created a fully articulated silicone dummy of actor Jackson Goldenberg. While Jeremy might have been a little shit, Goldenberg seems delighted to have been on set.
Crazy makeup, crazy yelling, and crazy dying.
He originally had a different death, but when they found this house in Savannah, Georgia, they rewrote it to make use of its spiral staircase. I love how intense this opening is. Oh, and then the push-ins on everything, it's great. Him with a knife, her screaming, title card! A series of jack-o'-lanterns burst out of each other in another fun twist on the original movie's opening credits. Some pumpkin guts take us into a narrated recap of this whole Haddonfield mess.
He took our dreams and turned them into nightmares.
We're reminded of many a kill and many an evil dies tonight as the movie sets itself up to be an epic conclusion to 4 films and 40 years of story. Too bad it is not. Laurie says that after he killed her daughter Karen, Mikey My went bye-bye and hasn't been seen since. But in his absence, Haddonfield succumbed to fear and hatred. His evil was contagious.
The suffering Michael caused became an infection, passing on to people who never even crossed his path.
If you want to get more wasted than Carpenter writing Halloween 2, drink every time you hear the word infection in this movie. Laurie's tour of the town includes 2 safari sweethearts found poached in their car. It also, unfortunately, includes the mother of Oscar, Allison's friend from the first movie. She discovered his body in Halloween Kills and joins him on the count wearing his costume. Man, that's sad. We catch up in the present, 4 years after Michael's massacre, so 3 years after Jeremy got a lesson in gravity. Laurie and Allison live together in a house adorned with memories of Karen and Ray.
It's their wedding rings.
Laurie's going all Gal Weathers and has a final girl book deal, while Allison's going all Laurie Strode and spends her time at Haddonfield Memorial. According to Laurie, they're living their best lives now, which is frankly weird to see. I know 4 years is enough time for someone to change. I'm not a baby who thinks people can't change, but it's still strange seeing Laurie Strode so cheery and domestic. It's reflected on the soundtrack when she's at the grocery store. In the background, you can hear Don't Fear the Reaper, the same song that played when she drove around smoking weed as a teenager. But it's a Muzak version coming over the store speakers. It's been domesticated and tamed, just like Laurie has. David Gordon Green was inspired by Jamie Lee Curtis in real life as a healing figure. He wanted to see the character having processed some of her trauma and trying to be more optimistic. That's fine, mostly, except for when she says she's baking pies as a Halloween tradition. What tradition? Just 4 years ago, your Halloween tradition was mannequin target practice. Conversely, Corey's life sucks. He still lives in Haddonfield, where everyone gives him dirty looks and or tries to run him over. His mom Ruth doesn't help with how overbearing she is.
Boys who keep secrets don't get custard for dessert.
The only halfway decent person in his life is his stepdad Ronald, who employs him at his junkyard and gifts him a motorbike. Corey goes on a chalky milk run. We saw in the opener how much he loves his cow juice, but it leaves the poor kid open to bullying.
Bring a little milk.
Leave him alone, he wants strong bones. Terry here is trying to hey Mr. Corey for some beer, but when he refuses, Terry unleashes his gang of aggressively Gen Z band kids.
Killed a kid and too pussy to buy some fucking
Guys, you know what?
beers.
You'd expect these characters to be jocks, but I respect this insane decision. You know at least one of these fuckers is in Drumline. Center Snare do be like this. Corey hulks out on his yoo-hoo, leaving him a boo-boo. Aw, and then they push him into the broken glass? Not a great day to be Corey. Laurie Strode happens to pass by and encourages Corey to get up to some monkey business. She knows what it's like to be hated in Haddonfield, since some people blame her for Michael Myers.
Do you see what he did to my sister?
Well, that depends. Who's your sister? Oh, come on! Motherfucking Sandra? The chick who got a fluorescent light bulb in her neck? How the hell is she still alive other than to just fuck with me? We literally nominated her for Best Kill at the first ever Dead Meat Horror Awards. This is the second time you've gotten me, David Gordon Green. This is Frank's fake out neck stabbing all over again.
Hey.
Ugh. Hi, Frank. Anyway, Laurie takes Corey to the doctor's office where Allison works. He's treated by her douchey boss, Dr. Mathis.
What are you doing?
Dude, that was so clearly not her fault. Allison instantly goes from 0 to 80 for the core man.
Oh, a motorcycle. Teach me to ride it?
Damn, dude, she must be craving a milk mustache ride. Matchmaker Lori encourages it, so Allison follows up by visiting Corey at his junkyard job. Nothing like scrap metal to get the juices flowing, so they make a date for a Halloween party that night. Corey shows up dressed as a scarecrow, probably hoping Allison would come dressed as Pearl. She doesn't, but he does get some action right away.
Hey, Scarecrow. See anything you like?
That's Nick Castle in a cameo, the guy who played Michael Myers in the OG film. He is, of course, reciting a famous line from that movie.
See anything you like?
This soiree is hosted by the bar's owner, Lindsay Wallace, played once again by Kyle Richards. She survived her attack in Halloween Kills and has grown close to Lori and Allison in the 4 years since. She also ships Allison and Corey and helps them loosen up with some liquid courage. Pretty soon, they're having photo booth montages and dancing like demons. Oh man, you know it's so sticky down there. Without the music, the place is sounding like... The good times are cut short when Corey runs into Jeremy's mom.
A judge might have said you were innocent, but I know you. I know it was no accident.
Who comes to a bar to rant about their dead kid? Really bringing the vibe down, lady. This is no place to mourn. You've got hollow rockabilly blaring and people rolling all around on the floor. The confrontation sours Corey's mood and he lashes out at Allison for bringing him here. She explains her attraction to him. She can relate as a fellow outcast.
When I saw you the other day, I just saw a person just trying to figure it the fuck out.
But he points out they're different. She's the final girl, he's the killer. Wait, why is she holding her hands like that? Can he get small and hop into her palms? Corey ditches her and walks home, where he's confronted by the returning band bullies. Aw, man. I'm gonna tell my kids this was Judgment Day. They begin to shove and shout, and it escalates in a full-on attempted murder when Terry throws Corey off the bridge. The kids flee the scene while an injured Corey is dragged into the Derry Underground. Now, kids, you may have forgotten that this is, in fact, a Halloween movie. I mean, hell, even Season of the Witch showed Michael Myers 20 minutes in. But we're now 40 minutes deep, and it's finally time to peep that bleach Shatner mask. Think could use another bleaching, too. Returning makeup effects artist Christopher Nelson didn't just want to recreate his work from 2018 in Kills. Instead, he made Michael's mask grungier while maintaining its silhouette, stripping it down to bare latex on one side. Much like a Ninja Turtle, Michael's taken to living in the sewers, specifically in a wall crack? What is that? A little shape rift? Instead of killing Corey, Michael challenges him to a staring contest. Then he, I don't know, sees into Corey's soul? What the fuck is happening right now? Is Michael downloading Corey's memories? Or did he just infect the kid, drink, since he survives to stumble out of the sewer? Ha, that's our Michael Myers, always letting people live. Wait a minute, maybe Michael's transferred his being into Corey? Is Corey Michael Myers?
I'm Michael Myers.
Okay, sure, I'm Michael Myers too. This homeless guy tries to stab Corey, but a reverse Uno sees Corey stab the guy instead, killing him. So, at the very least, Corey's inherited some of that Myers murder mojo. Really seems to be the case when Lori sees him out her window, standing there looking more Myers than a baloney named OSCAR. Corey's here to apologize to Allison.
I killed someone.
And confess to killing that homeless guy? Or wait, is he talking about Jeremy? Because, yeah, dude, she knows. Everyone knows he killed that kid. I do think it's Jeremy he's talking about, since he takes her to the abandoned Allen home. He shows her the leftover splotch of Jeremy, and that works up an appetite, so the two head to a diner. Allison admits she feels trapped in Haddonfield.
I'm just terrified to think what would happen if she were all alone if I left.
Corey has a blunter view of the situation.
I think both your parents got killed and your grandma feels guilty about it, so she's making you her child.
They're interrupted by Allison's ex-boyfriend, a douchey cop named Doug. We saw him earlier pulling her over and being guilty of having weak game.
You're under arrest for being the prettiest girl I know.
That's nice, Doug.
Doug starts to get in Allison's face, so Corey mad dogs out until he backs down. It's a far cry from his previous nervous demeanor, and it gets Allison hot and horny. I mean, hotter and hornier. She started at a pretty high baseline already, you know? I love Andy Matichak's strong, assertive presence here. Writer Paul Brad Logan said that Ends was meant to be her movie, with 2018 being about Lori and Kills focusing more on Karen. The two take a midnight motorcycle ride, and Corey drops Allison off at home. He seems to know he's being tailed by Officer Doug, so he leads the cop back to Michael's troll bridge. As Doug discovers the body of that vagrant, Corey sucker punches him and lures him into the sewers. This Michael man cave was actually a detailed set built by returning production designer Richard A. Wright. Lots of fun footage here, and the addition of real rats helps to sell the place. Oh yeah, speaking of Michael, we are now past the movie's midpoint, so it's high time we see him in action.
The fuck is that?
That, sir, is a distraction face in a wall, since the real danger's crouching right behind it. And here he is! The shape's a bit out of shape, so so Corey has to jump in and save him. Still, Michael's able to grab his knife and make the hot tag, teaching the Corpsmeister how it's done.
Show me how to do it.
As Corey holds Doug back, Michael slits his throat. It takes him a bit to get going, but soon, Mikey's back to his old stabby self. Wait, are the stabs healing him? I don't know, man, this movie's weird. A shaken Corey returns to Allison to get his post-murder rocks off. Lori gets back and sees the two head upstairs, looking just like Judith and her boyfriend in the original. Oh, and who's that watching the Watcher? It's Michael. Green didn't want to make Corey Cunningham a straight-up villain. Instead, he looked at him as a way to explore what leads people to violence without having to delve into Michael Myers' backstory.
To be honest, Michael Myers is a very difficult villain to write for because he doesn't talk and he doesn't have any backstory and he doesn't have any motivation.
He wanted to show how evil can develop in a community that neglects its own well-being. Corey's merely a symptom of Haddonfield's fear and hatred. Lori pays a visit to Lindsay, where she voices her suspicions about Corey.
Are we talking about Michael or this kid?
Michael's eyes in Corey.
Despite both appearing in Halloween Kills, Lindsay and Lori didn't share any scenes together. Kyle Richards was grateful she got to act with Curtis here, the first time they've been on screen together since the OG Halloween. Lindsay introduces Lori to Jeremy's father, Roger, aka Mr. Allen. Unlike his wife, Roger doesn't blame Corey for what happened to their son.
Corey was a good kid. I just couldn't imagine he'd be capable of hurting anyone on purpose.
But he did have a recent encounter that sounds an awful lot like Lori's.
And I pull up next to him, and he looks at me, and it's not him. At least not in the eyes.
Yep, it's official. Corey's inherited Michael's eyes. The blackest eyes. The devil's eyes. In the luxury district of Haddonfield, Allison's boss, Dr. Mathis, is living it up. Earlier, we saw her get passed up for a promotion in favor of her horny co-worker, Deb. Now Mathis is having Deb over for an after-hours checkup. Haha, you like what you see, Mathis?
Yeah.
His workplace dalliances are no secret. Just ask his old nurse Marcus and his wife Vanessa.
Your vulgar-ass boss acted inappropriately.
Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna quit that job.
Punch Dr. Mathis in the face.
While Mathis pours the wine, Deb gets ready with a requisite psycho shower shot.
Dr. Mathis?
Damn, man, tough luck. You buying her robes and shit, and she's still calling you by your Mr. name. Deb hears a noise and discovers Mathis getting a Black Christmas corkscrewing. It's Scarecrow Corey, just going to absolute town on that bagged head. For this kill, a Dr. Mathis dummy was created, capable of sucking in the plastic bag to simulate breathing. It looked disturbingly real.
Wash the eye, still gushing.
Deb manages to lock Corey out of the house, so murder mentor Michael steps in to clean up. He dispatches Deb with a classic bobby pin against the wall. Vintage Myers! And is he gonna do the head tilt? You know he's got it. Haha, yeah, there it is. Always with the head tilt. This is a great showcase of the characters' differing styles. Corey's kills are sloppy and messy, while Mikey My is the consummate professional. We cut to another moody motorcycle ride, and folks, I know I'm not alone in thinking / hoping it'd be Michael on the back of that bike. But no, it's just Allison. She and Corey head to the local radio station, WURG The Urge. Wonder if it's the same station Barry Sims broadcast from. Green actually made a point of showing this location in Halloween Kills, since they knew they'd be visiting it in Ends. The couple makes like Robson and Jerome chilling up on the roof, where Corey tells Allison he'll be her sinner in secret. Just take him to the feeling and run away with him. Run away with him! They're interrupted by DJ Willie the Kid, a Haddonfield truther whose voice has been all over this movie.
I think the man who escaped Smith Grove in 1978 was not the same man who killed all those people. The real Michael Myers was murdered that night, and the heavy breather with the mask was the same man who poisoned Pope John Paul I.
He's quick to insult Allison, which is the last straw for her in Haddonfield. She agrees to elope with Corey. Good timing too, since things are finally boiling over with his jealous mom.
Get out of my house!
Ah, man, she's physically and possibly sexually abusive too? Now it makes sense why Green cited Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker as an inspiration. God, I need to get that movie on the kill count. It is an all-timer. Come Halloween morning, Corey's crashing at the Allen house, leaping on the blood spot Jeremy left. Gross. Lori drops by to probe him, warning that much like a hard drive, evil can be external or internal.
Like a sickness. Or an infection.
Haha, drink! She thinks Corey's real sick with the Michael Myers bug, but he doesn't listen when she says to stay away from Allison.
If I can't have her, no one will.
I'm not thrilled that the end of this trilogy randomly became Season of the Corey, but actor Rowan Campbell gives a fantastic performance. He sells all the shades of Corey's character, from shy and well-meaning to menacing and manipulative. Plus, he already knew how to ride a motorcycle. Everyone who worked with him kept saying how nice he was, a claim that held up when I met him at a convention earlier this year. I was cracking up watching some of his outtakes.
You fell on a glass of chocolate milk.
Yeah, like chocolate milk, so what?
It's my favorite treat, so I get chocolate milk. Good chocolate.
Anyone who gave him hate because of this movie can suck it. I'm glad he got to be a part of Sabrina Carpenter's taste, which I did a mini kill count on. Check it out. Corey calls Allison with a plan to leave that night, then goes back into the sewers and wrestles Michael's mask away from him. Honestly, that's pretty embarrassing, Michael.
I'm just a man in a Halloween mask.
Back home, Allison gets ready to skip town, despite Lori warning her that Corey's on a dark path. It causes Allison to assimilate to the Lori hate train, blaming her for the death of her friends and parents. Damn, Lori getting it from all sides in this movie, even from Corey's creepy mom.
Because your boogeyman disappeared. They needed a new one.
Shut up, lady, before we call CPS. Corey never makes it to his and Allison's runaway rendezvous, since he gets too distracted vandalizing Terry's ride. The teens track him to the salvage yard and decide to fuck with his bike out of revenge, and Ronald's too busy watching Hard Target to give a Van Damme. While they're distracted, Corey stealth kills the mulleted Billy with a drumstick. He paradid him in. Corey chases the bullies with a truck in a scene reminiscent of another Carpenter movie, Christine. In fact, Corey was inspired by and named after that movie's protagonist, Arnie Cunningham, a similarly bullied outcast who also takes a dark turn. One teen, Stacy, manages to escape, but Margot gets absolutely steamrolled and trapped underneath a chain link fence. Sucks to see it happen. She's definitely been the nicest of the group.
What is your problem with this kid?
Still, at a certain point, it's on her for continuing to hang out with them. She's played by Joey Harris, just seen on the kill count as goth girl Tamara and Lisa Frankenstein. Stacy tries to free Margot, but gets attacked by Corey with a monkey wrench. Terry runs to the office for help, so Ronald gives the high schooler a gun and leaves to confront Corey. He tries to reason with his stepson, but Terry's too trigger happy.
Oh no!
No! Damn it, Ron! Your heart was too big. Terry walks over and finds Stacy's bludgeoned body against a pole, having been killed by that monkey wrench. He'd rather leave than suffer this, but still tries to free Margot. Corey attacks him before he can with a welding torch, using it to give this hothead a fatal hothead. For this kill, Nelson helped build an insane body double of Terry. Torching it was an unsettling experience for Campbell.
This crazy thing happens when you work with Chris Nelson, is the head is so real that when you're doing it, it's just the most disturbing, disgusting thing.
It's a shame it's out of focus in the final scene, but you know, I get it. Art. Corey finishes his salvage yard slaughter by pancaking Margot's head and running her over with his truck. I love this gross fake head they filled with friggin' pasta. Wow, this movie's BTS is gorier than the film. Corey heads back home where Mama Cunningham is having a night in. Ooh, is she drying Elmer's glue on her hands to peel it off? That was always the best. Corey grabs a kitchen knife in an homage to the original's opening scene and then kills his mother completely off screen. We do get a shot of her body later though. Mrs. Cunningham's death was originally a much longer tribute to Barb's death in the OG Black Christmas, with rowdy trick-or-treaters at the door instead of carolers. Seriously rowdy too, they're about to burn this fucking place down. The sequence was ultimately cut for pacing reasons. Corey continues his Halloween mischief at the radio station, where Willie the Kid is broadcasting a show. He's stopped by Willie's receptionist, played by Diana Prince, aka Darcy the Mail Girl from The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. She's quickly dispatched in the background, with Willie too busy jamming out to notice. Darcy's death was another scene left on the cutting room floor, but in the BTS, it looks like it was yet another spin on Bob's death from the original. Corey then interrupts Willie's broadcast with a head bashing that leaves his jaw on the floor. Oh my god, and then he cuts his tongue off with scissors? Oh, that's gonna leave a record scratch. Props to actor Kieran Harris for wearing this gnarly and uncomfortable prosthetic.
Can you breathe in that? Barely.
While this third act murder spree is full of sick kills, I get why fans were disappointed they weren't done by Michael. Watching Corey carve up Haddonfield is like watching Roy Burns in the hockey mask all over again. And to their credit, it seems like everyone knew this was a gamble. Green warned Campbell when he was cast that a lot of people would hate his character. A forlorn Lori is back home alone. Allison may be ignoring her, but sensing she has someone else's attention, Lori sets up a trap. She uses a pumpkin for some fake out violence that draws Corey out into the open. That's right, this is Lori goddamn Strode! And Corey should have thought of that. Now he's got a couple of bullets in his body. Lori's got him dead to rights, but as Allison returns, Corey figures, hey, if you can't kill him, frame him. When Allison gets inside, she finds Lori looking guilty, and since he had primed her for it, believes that she just murdered Corey. A devastated Allison flees into the night, leaving Lori to cry in the kitchen. There's no rest for the wicked though, since Michael Prime is here to keep this Myers mash going. Corey's still kicking after that neck stab, so Michael turns it into a neck snap to properly add him to the count. Meanwhile, Allison discovers the Halloween havoc Corey's caused around town. It makes her realize realize she probably backed the wrong person in Corey v. Laurie. Laurie and Michael finally have their climactic confrontation. It's got boot choking, shin kicking, head banging, and dish breaking. He sticks a knitting needle in her ear, finally getting payback for the first time she ever damaged him all those years ago. Then he almost gives her a garbage disposal manicure. She manages to recover and pins him to the table using his own knife. She finishes the kitchen crucifixion with another knife, and then a whole gosh darn refrigerator. With Michael restrained, Laurie removes his mask so she can Halloween ends him.
I thought maybe you were the boogeyman. No, you're just a man who's about to stop breathing.
She slits his throat, but this is Michael fucking Myers. He laughs in the face of a kill graphic. He rips his hand free and starts choking Laurie out, which she doesn't seem totally upset about.
Do it.
It kicks off a montage of clips that goes all the way back to the original. And in one version of the script, Laurie actually died here. Green and his co-writers came up with several different endings, including two where Corey survived. One saw him redeemed, and another had him officially take up the Myers mantle. Several drafts also included the Silver Shamrock Factory, but it was ultimately vetoed for fear of being too fan servicey. In this, the theatrical canonical timeline, Laurie is saved at the last minute by Allison. She swoops in and breaks Michael's arm. Holy humorous! As Allison watches, Laurie very deliberately slits Michael's wrists, then offers him comfort as he bleeds out. Not sure why, that guy was a dick. Jamie Lee Curtis served as executive producer and helped craft the film, especially with regards to her character's story. The final showdown in particular was important to her.
As long as it doesn't look like a movie fight.
While Ashley Ray Trisler did some of her stunts, Curtis insisted on doing most of them herself, including when her head goes through a glass cabinet.
I want it to be on camera, I want it to be me, I want it to be real. That feels important to me.
She came up with the garbage disposal beat and got plenty of real cuts and bruises scrapping with James Jude Courtney.
I'm sorry, I hit him in his knee. Sorry, Jim.
It was not only physically demanding, but emotionally as well, since Curtis was leaving Laurie Strode behind for the final time.
Everything good in my life is from Laurie Strode. Nothing in my life doesn't trace back to Laurie Strode, and so to say goodbye to her permanently is incredibly emotional.
Frank arrives with backup and finds the carnage at Laurie's house. He's here to check if Michael's gotten a kill graphic yet.
He's dead.
Oh, so yes on the graphic?
Not dead enough.
Oh, okay, I'll hold off for now. I've been missing Frank this movie, but not as much as I miss Sheriff Barker, who finally returns to condone their plan for vigilante justice.
This is not how it works.
It is tonight.
When I saw this dude in Halloween 2018, I was hoping he'd get more prominent in the sequels, not less. Major letdown. The Haddon folk come together in a funerary procession that includes Sandra and her sister, as well as Julian from 2018. See, Jeremy, if you had behaved, you could have wound up here. The parade ends at the salvage yard, where the crowd carries Michael like he were Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I just hope they got the right guy this time, because they definitely fucked up the last time around. It was like Reddit and the Boston Bomber all over again. His body is brought to an industrial shredder, which Allison has the honor of powering up. As the townsfolk watch, Laurie kicks Michael's body in, and yep, that should just about do it. Michael Myers is dead. May he rest in pieces. In the aftermath, Allison makes her peace with Laurie before leaving Haddonfield to start afresh. As for Laurie, she finishes her book with an uncertain goodbye to Michael Myers.
I've said goodbye to my boogeyman. But the truth is, evil doesn't die. It changes shape.
She answers a knock at the door to find Frank, and as the two of them tiptoe into a relationship, the movie's played out by one last rendition of Don't Fear the Reaper. Did the student become the master in this battle of the Myerses? Let's find out and get to the numbers.
Oh, shit! Shit!
That was weird. I gotta get to the numbers. There were 18 kills in Halloween Ends, with Corey scoring 10 of them. Michael only had 3. There were 11 male victims and 7 female, giving us this Evil Pies Tonight chart. Compared to the rest of the franchise, Halloween Ends' kill count is right near the middle. Here, it's easier if we order them by number of kills. There we go, it's 6th out of 13 movies. That is, as long as all the kills I counted stay counted, David! With a runtime of 110 minutes, Halloween Ends had a kill on average every 6.11 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to the main man, Michael Myers. Michael has survived a lot in this franchise, so I appreciate the extra effort to ensure his death is final. Dollar Machete for lamest kill will go to Mrs. Cunningham, who was way too important to Corey to go out with an off-screen kill. And that's it. Halloween Ends came out in 2022 and concluded Blumhouse's involvement with the franchise. I can't wait to see what shape it takes next. Until next time, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count.
On the next Kill Count.
Hey, be good people, it's Dead Meat Video.
Hey, we're the team at Dead Meat Video.
Here for the last time now that streaming has destroyed the rental industry.
Wait, what? That's right, we're closing and everything must go. But I just bought a house.
So while we're crushed by the endless march of progress,
You can join us for VHS Beyond.
This time, our wraparound is a documentary about aliens called Abduction Adduction.
In terms of human nature, there is more thrill in pursuing something than in catching something.
Unless it's catching a tape that leaves you confused and disgusted.
It's grotesque.
Dream Girl takes us to big bad Bollywood through the peepers of some paparazzi. A nosy photographer gets the scoop of a lifetime on a rising star.
dream girl hai ye.
But the dirt he digs up means it's R.I.P. to TMZ.
Do you want a selfie?
Fur Babies pits a PETA posse against the epitome of pure evil.
Welcome to Doggy Dream House, the happiest place in all the land.
But these activists will bite off more than they can chew toy in this segment from Christian and Justin Long.
Today has been an exciting day.
Stork is a game of cops versus aliens from Thanksgiving 3's Jordan Downey.
What?
Don't let that fool you, because this segment knows how to let the body cams hit the floor.
What about the chainsaw?
And we haven't even gotten to the attic!
Stowaway sends us deep into the Mojave Desert in a tape directed by Kate Siegel and written by Mike Flanagan.
Saw a bunch of little alien footprints.
It follows a scientist on the hunt for extraterrestrial evidence.
Oh my god, it's incredible.
But soon she'll realize the true gravity of her situation.
Live and Let Dive brings VHS to new heights, literally.
My kids are going to lose their fucking shit when they see this.
But an unexpected party crasher is about to put the die into skydiving.
Oh, it's a fucking UFO!
So this week, say goodbye to rental fees and VHS tapes.
And on Friday, say hello to the digital future.
No! I will die before I let streaming take over. And I'm taking you both with me. Angela, open the airlock!
Who's Angela?
That's disgusting. Should we get me watching this? Yeah, Dead Meat Video.
VHS Beyond can currently be watched on the pictured streaming platforms. Dead Meat always recommends you watch the movie for yourself before its kill count. It's the only way to have your own properly informed opinion. Kill counts are never meant to replace the experience of watching a film.
Thanks a lot for watching this Halloween Ends kill count. This has gotta be the most requested episode in the past year or more. I mean, probably since it came out 2 years ago. We couldn't cover it for a while because of copyright issues we were dealing with. And then we were considering it and the strike happened. And after a while it was like, well, we'll just do it in October. Even though I'm back by the time you're watching this, this is the very last thing I'm filming before I'm going to Tokyo and Seoul. Like I leave tomorrow in, I don't know, like 10 hours to go to Japan and Korea. Never been before. This is a huge trip for us. We're super excited. We could not do this without the help of so many people. So thank you our friend Jill, who's coming over to house sit and watch the pets for a night. And then our housemates, Gressel and Erica, for continuing to watch the house and the pets while we're gone. Big thanks to editor Josh and brand manager Ben for working on a Saturday so that we could finish this all up and get it all done before we leave. It's been an insane few months trying to get all the work done before this trip. I hope you're having a happy Halloween and spooky month, and I hope that we are too, future Dead Meat. Thanks everyone, be good people, and happy Halloween.